Saturday the 6th. This is the status quo in the jungle out here. Thought I was going to have enough room between the little aisles, as I'll call them, and as the plants are getting bigger and bigger, you can see the rutabaga with the big old three-footish leaves. It's harder to get in between, and as you get some things like the beans and the bitter melon stretching across and attaching to other plants. So I'm in the process of extending out the black plastic, so I just got it cut. I need to unfold it. I need to move at least this first row, take them all off, get the plastic under, put it back, and you know, go out about 6 more feet so I can have some room to walk amongst things. So that's just the first part of what's going on. All right, so looks like I gained about 6 feet, overlapped underneath about 3, because that's a 10-foot wide after you unfold it out of the roll. So obviously a lot more room to walk in between with the jungle that's going on here. You know, those cucumbers are pretty crazy. I mean, you can hardly see the buckets where the hydroponics are. These 4, so there are 2 Divas and 2 Space Master cucumbers. They're not liking something that's going on in that tub. I mean, they're all out here in the same heat. These are 4 sets of Divas in the hydroponics, and then there's like 4 sets of lemon cucumbers hanging out over there, and they look really good. So I don't know what the heck is happening, but what am I gonna do? The cucamelon, at least the one in this bucket, is doing well, but all the little buds kind of went away. So I don't know if they're getting choked out or it was just too hot. But they're really not doing what they originally were doing. So we'll see what happens. I see some more buds starting, but you know, we'll see. And then there were some cucamelons hanging out in here, which are kind of shriveled up. Don't remember what these peppers were. The snap peas, the 2 transplants, that one's dead, or darn near close to it. Then the other one's taking a little heat beating, but then this one in the back corner is doing pretty good. So I probably need to start a couple more from seed and get ready to add to those. Roma beans, I clipped a couple yesterday to go with a couple of the Blue Lake beans. Had like a handful to go with dinner. There's 1 Chinese long bean hanging out in the bottom corner there, or the back corner. And then these 3 up here are just shriveling up. I think the bitter melon's just beating it out. A lot more room to walk around. Rutabaga, I need to trim a couple of these leaves, but I mean, some of these leaves are 3 foot long. The corn's doing pretty good, and you can see the green beans coming up at the bottom, so hopefully they'll start climbing. Look at this weird corn. Looks like it's got basically 2 suckers going up off of it. So everything was leaning a bit. It's pretty windy this weekend, so I got some stuff to hopefully stake it down. Italian heirloom. I need to get a clip in there with the stakes. They were leaning. Opalkas. And 2 of the Tessa land currants, the same as what's in the hydroponics in the greenhouse. And these are all orange Russolini, and they're all leaning. So I picked up stakes today, so I got to get to staking. But you know, pretty hardy plants except for the wind, and you know, there's a grip of tomatoes hanging out in there. These greens beans are doing pretty good, except for, you know, heat's roaching some of the leaves, and a couple of the smaller plants aren't gonna make it, so I need to put a couple seeds in there. This one's going really well. Like I said, picked some beans off of that last night, and just more room to walk around and to water and work out here. So I wasn't doing anything with the yard anyway, so I mean, I water it when I have to, and I haven't done it this year. It comes back every spring, so why waste the money watering something that I don't own anyways? This carrot, waiting for it to go to seed, is taking forever. These other 2 carrots are starting to sprout, kind of sporadic. Zucchini looks healthy, but the one that was doing good started to rot, so I need to clip that, take it out. But there's a couple hanging down, and you can't even see the front of it now. They're hanging down the front of the basket or the tote here, so I don't know. Strawberries are doing okay. Birds are eating it. I'm gonna hang a couple stakes with some blank CDs out here. Hopefully the reflection makes them run away. And 1 or 2 of the strawberries are starting to send out runners, so hopefully I can transplant, put it in an empty spot back there. Waiting for these green onions to finish going to seed. Radishes are edible now, but hopefully in a week or 2, because they're supposed to be these things called German giants. They're about the size of a small to medium regular radish right now. Cilantro, I trimmed it because it's bolting because of the heat. So I don't think they're gonna do all that well, but I'm gonna trim them down and sock some fertilizer to it, see what happens. The dill is doing pretty well. It's kind of funny that nothing in the outer ring sprouted. Must have either because of being in the shade at certain times of day or just whatever. The other green onions are doing okay. Let's see, what's the difference here? So the black carrots are in this half, the red carrots are in that half, and there's only a couple that germinated, so that's a little depressing, so I'll have to throw some more seed in there. Basil is doing well ever since the transplant, because I clipped it actually before the transplant. They're due to be probably clipped in another week. And the watermelon is doing really well. So all in all, things on the outside are doing good. Things are spread out. I've got to do a few things with these, you know, like the Swiss chard just dried up and it just needs to go. So I've got 1, 2, 3, I have 5 cloth baskets that need stuff. So inside's doing really well, keeping everything trimmed except for maybe that one down there and that tippy top there. There's dozens on this early doll. There's one that's getting a little color down there, so they didn't get very big. I was hoping they would be a little larger, but we'll see. Just tons of them everywhere. So the plant itself is healthy. Never grown them before, so I don't know how big the tomatoes are supposed to get. This is the same plant. This is the second branch, and there's stuff all over there. The second plant is doing pretty good itself too. Oh, look at those. Pop, 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 pop. So that's looking pretty good, and this is its second branch. It's starting to ramp up, and there's a few between both of them up there. This is I believe this one's a chocolate sprinkle. This is the one that I mislabeled, so until it gets a little bit riper, I can't tell what it is. It's either that or it's chocolate. It's either a midnight snack or a chocolate sprinkle. I believe it's a chocolate sprinkle because the midnight snack gets quite a bit more deeper purple, but until something ripens, I have no idea. Grape tomatoes, I picked a couple. They're kind of orange red, so I just figured I'd grab a couple of them and taste them out later on. Crims are doing pretty good. They're getting, I don't know, that's a small size tomato from how these get, but they're growing really well. There's no end rot, just the blossom itself, so nothing's rotting. And the shade cloth seems to be doing its job. This is also a crim. This Abe Lincoln, it just never really took off after I lightly trimmed it, and then it just hit tomatoes early, so this may be all it gives. But there's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14-ish on here. That was a big beef from seed that was kind of stunted. There's one leaning back there. It's not doing all that great. And neither are these Aurora peppers, but like I said before, I don't have seeds, can't find them. just letting them hang on for dear life and see what happens. The jalapenos are growing like crazy. They actually started to lean. They're getting a little heavy. There's some full-size jalapenos going on. So all in all, good job on that. The bell peppers are starting to get blooms. The banana peppers, I've got stuff I can eat. So I need to pick some of those. I actually need to see if I've got enough to do a small batch and can the banana peppers and the couple jalapenos. The Scotch bonnets I'm a little afraid of. They look really good. Nice dark green, healthy, pointy, wrinkly. We'll see how hot they get, because my experience with the hot stuff in the greenhouse, at least here, has been not hot. Rooted to sun globes, or sun gold, which is the same as the far end when we get down here, just in case I chop that plant out. And this big beef, it's bushy, but it's not doing a lot of work, so I don't know, it was just kind of stunted. But this is the chocolate sprinkle for sure, and it's gonna go this orange brown when it gets done with the green stripes on top. But you know, it's got a couple dozen tomatoes on it, so pretty good. Got it chopped off, and for the most part single trunk. This midnight snack is just doing awesome. There's, you know, 50, 70 tomatoes on here. Basically single trunk that all the way up, and I'm just seeing what this does. I already trimmed it, so I just figured I'd see what that does. If not, it just gets chopped. There is a sucker there, but you know, we'll see. The indigo, larger than the midnight snack, not as abundant as the other, but it's still doing well. You know, there's about 20 on there, and the top is nice and green, even though these leaves look kind of crappy. Probably need to trim some of the leaves and let it get to pumping more into the fruit and more into the top. As long as it does enough to do its job, then it's good. The Tesla land currant, there's, I don't know, 3 or 4 in here. I have to keep supporting it because it's starting to grow like a weed. Lots of blossoms. Haven't seen any baby tomatoes yet, but that could be any day now. And then the sun gold. Lots of blossoms on top. It's been pretty windy, so those should have all pollinated. And there's one truss down there. So all in all, everything's doing pretty good. This is the only really wild animal in here outside of the green peppers, and I've been letting the beefsteak do its thing because I don't think it's gonna do well, but until I have something to replace it, I figure let it grow. This is hard to see all the tomatoes down there. There's probably like 40, 50 tomatoes hanging out, but there's a lot of dead. But if I trim off too much, some of the dead branches that look dead actually go into green when you get down here. So again, just kind of letting it do its thing until it's done. Once I chop it out, I'll take that cinder block out, drop the bucket down like the rest of them, and get on its way. It's turning out to be a longer video than I wanted, but more stuff to show. And then mini tomato, mini pepper, different kind of mini tomato, different kind of mini pepper. Then we've got the bok choys, the Japanese radish is the bigger ones in the center, and then baby bok choys on the other side. So maybe try to transplant the radishes this weekend. They look a little frail, but we'll see how the roots develop. Other than that, doubled up on all of the watering, just in case a straw got plugged, so that way every one of them has 2 feeders on it. You can hear the water recycling down there, and the light humming is because I have an air stone in the back that gives it oxygen to oxygenate the tote back there. Other than that, big long update for this week, but everything's looking good. Till next week.